Well, good morning, Danielle.
Good morning.
Hey, thanks for joining us today, and we get to interview Danielle today. And and Danielle, the reason for this interview is many of us want to invest out there and find an investment that we feel comfortable with and that we feel that is secure, and ultimately our capital goes to work for us and does what it's supposed to do. But I guess the first question, you've been with His Capital for quite some time now. What made you trust His Capital funding?
I got involved with His Capital funding actually through family members who had, and I had seen how they were finding that His Capital was a way to invest their money in a way that was more secure and more reliable than normal methods of investments. The stock market was pretty volatile at the time, and of course still is. And they were looking for a way to find a secure way to be making money on very hard-earned money. For me, I was looking for a way to invest what I had. I don't have a ton, but I was looking for a way to invest money in a way that wasn't going to risk losing a ton. I don't have a ton to lose. And so for me, I needed to find something that I trusted. And seeing the results that my family members had experienced was inspiration to give it a shot and to trust them. Their communication has been absolutely wonderful. Any concerns or questions that I've had have been promptly responded to. And I found that for me, the regular communication and the regular results for me has really enhanced my level of trust with them, and has encouraged me and inspired me to continue to invest and to continue to invest more over the years.
And we're excited for you to do that. It's fun to see your account just continuing to grow. And at your age, being a millennial, yes, you may not have a ton according to world standards, but you have a ton compared to most people your age. So keep up the great job. Danielle, how easy was it for you to get started? Was it a difficult process? Can you expound on that?
Yeah, not at all. It was very easy, not difficult. It was a very easy process. It once the communication happened in determining, personally how much I was able to invest and switching around funds, the process of actually making the investment was very, very quick. His Capital team was right by my side, making sure that everything was done, handled all the details. All I really needed to do was make sure that the communication on my end, as far as the transferring of the funds, was done. And they walked me through the rest of it. It was a very foreign world for me. I had never done anything like this type of investment. And so they coached me through it, talked through whatever questions I had, any concerns, any unusual things that I was unfamiliar with, and made sure that I felt comfortable with the full process from start to finish. As far as once the starting happens, the communication has been wonderful throughout the process. Any questions I have as time goes on with particular properties has been promptly responded to, and it's been a really simple process from my end of it.
Danielle, what have your results been so far? Your goal was to obviously make 8%. And have you lost any money? Has it met your expectations? Tell us what your experience has been.
Yeah, the results have been wonderful. I haven't lost anything, which is a far cry from what I've experienced with other forms of investments. It has allowed me to have other opportunities in my life because of this funding is secure. I know that this 8% goal has been very consistent, and the regular results that I see coming through on a monthly basis is so much confirmation that this was a solid investment and that this was a really, really wise decision for me as far as an investment. So the results have been absolutely wonderful, exceeded my expectations. Again, has allowed me to invest wisely and allowed me to do other things with my life.
Danielle, you invest with your IRA funds as well as your own capital, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. I work with a self-directed IRA and have utilized those funds in investing through his capital as well. So not only am I doing a regular investment, but the IRA also allows me to be working towards retirement goals and allows me to be diversifying a little bit with my IRAs, knowing that I can direct those funds into an investment that I believe is very secure and is growing in a way that I'm hoping it to grow.
Danielle, your story gets talked about around the office about how you used your capital to buy a whole note when you purchased your last car. You are the only client we have that has done that, and it inspired all of us. Can you just expound a little bit about how you used a whole note to fund your car?
Absolutely. I grew up in a home where you pay for a car by cash. And so I have every month I put aside money towards a new car. As soon as I purchase a new car, I restart that investment on a monthly basis, so that by the time that I am in need of another car, that I'll have a solid sum of money to go in and say, paying by cash. I typically go new. And last time I went in, my car was ready to be traded in. So I went into the car dealership and I had enough to purchase a new car because I had saved up. And the salesman started talking with me about leasing options. And I laughed at him and said, no, we pay cash. This is what we do. And he started explaining what could be done with a leasing option. And it took a whole change of perspective for me to even consider it. But what I realized was that he could allow me to keep this sum of money that I was intending to pay on a vehicle and to pay monthly payments. Typically, that would be something that would be a far cry from what I understand is what I want to do with my money. But what this allowed me to do was I was able to keep this sum of money that I had already saved up for a vehicle. And instead of handing it over to the car dealership, what I did was I invested that money. And this sum of money was able to bring back monthly more than what my car payment is on a monthly basis. So now what I'm doing with the sum of money is that the monthly payments coming in roll right into paying for the monthly car payment or the monthly lease payment. And I still have this initial sum of money. What I'm also doing is I'm continuing to pay myself monthly for my next car purchase. And come a couple years from now, what I'll do is I'll take that sum of money, roll it into my current investment, and continue to allow that to work and allow it to pay for my monthly lease payments on my vehicle. And it's allowing me to keep it's crazy to me because it's allowing me to keep this sum of money that I fully intended to just pay for a new vehicle with. I still get to drive a vehicle around, and my car, the amount of money that I was going to pay for a car is now working for me and is working to allow me to have a car without actually losing that initial total of money. So it's allowed me to drive around a car for essentially very little cost on myself.
It was ingenious, honestly, because I'm looking at your report here, Danielle, and you bought a note for $27,300 that paid you 8%, and it pays you $182 each month. Your lease payment is $150. And so you're being paid $32 a month to drive that car. You drove off with a new car and you kept the money, and the money's working for you. It's inspiring. Way to go, girl.
Right? It will continue to, because that money can keep working. Future cars can be paid for, right? It'll continue compounding, and so that to me is just absolutely incredible. And again, it made sense because otherwise that money would have been gone. right? And now it's working. So it was a pretty crazy thing, but it's proven to be just incredibly useful and totally changed my perspective on it.
That's wonderful. Danielle, when you bought a note, do you feel comfortable with His Capital's vetting system? In other words, when you come to buy that note, they've already did all the work. They've vetted the borrower, they've vetted the property, and do you have confidence in His Capital and their system that when you buy that note is going to perform?
Yeah, absolutely. I do not know much about about real estate, right? But I trust that His Capital does. They've spent a lot of time making sure that their investments are with individuals or companies that are going to be good for their investment, and that they're going to make sure that they're paying on this money that I've worked hard for, right? So I trust that the vetting system that they have, and the catches that they have to make sure that my investment is going to be cared for, and that they're going to be good stewards of that money, so that my money is safe and secure. So I absolutely have confidence in them. I know that their expertise is being used to make sure that we as investors can be confident in the security of our investment.
Another story that inspires us all about you is you had a successful career, and you shared that you were looking for more in life. There had to be more. And you literally quit your job and started volunteering with organizations to help homeless individuals, I believe. And within 30 days, an organization hired you, and you've been with them for now, I think maybe 4 or 5 years. And it's literally your work is impacting, and your organization impacting and helping literally thousands and thousands of people in the Orlando area. Can you just expound a little bit on that?
I was working downtown in a sales job, and yeah, it was going great. But what really was drawing my heart was my lunch breaks. And I would go outside and I would talk with homeless individuals and learn their stories. Go bring them a Subway sub on the way back from lunch or whatever. And I found that was the exciting part of my day. And so I chose to figure out what that would look like. So I quit my job without anything lined up, and started volunteering at a lot of different places. I didn't have the experience to know what specifically I wanted to do. Sure, you want to help the homeless, but what does that look like? There's so many ways you can help them. You can be working in food kitchens. You can be working in housing or employment, and what could that look like? And so I started volunteering a lot of places and tried going very incognito until I'd meet somebody who had hiring abilities, and then I'd tell them what I was doing. And 2 days after I quit my job, I volunteered at this organization called iDignity. And iDignity handles the homeless situation in an unusual way. At iDignity, they believe that one of the causes to homelessness or to poverty is a lack of access to identification, which is a really strange concept because many of us have never lived without identification. You have a driver's license or a birth certificate or a social security card, and of course you have those, right? But if you don't, things get really difficult. You can't get employment, you can't get housing, you can't get proper health care. And so iDignity really kind of drew my heart because it was handling an issue that was much deeper than the visible things that deal with homelessness. It's not as simple as providing food, right? It's not as quick as providing food, but it handles homelessness on such a deeper level, and not only allows somebody to eat for today, but it allows somebody to find self-sufficiency in the future. And so I started volunteering there, and about a month later, I ended up on staff here. I've been here about 4.5 years, and to me, this opportunity allowed me to impact people and impact the community in ways I never imagined. It allowed me to love people and to change people's lives in ways that I had never even before known were possible. So that's what I do, and that's what I get to do. Taking a step back from a career that was commission based, right? So there was a lot of opportunity for income. Being able to work in this environment, but also to invest the money I make and the money I made earlier in a way that allows me to continue to serve in this way is really, really important. Knowing that my money is secure and is working for me allows me to continue to do this work. That's what I get to do.
Yeah, I love your heart, Danielle. I love that. Working for a nonprofit, you aren't exactly, I'm sure, getting rich. And I think we'd all agree that you're not going to be overpaid in a nonprofit organization. But you inspire us. You're doing what you love. You're making a difference in many people's lives, in the community, in the world. And you took a lower wage. But what's impressive is you're savvy. You have no car payments. You use the whole notes to fund that. I can't say how much you have in the investment, for obvious reasons, but it's impressive what you have amassed and what you're doing. And keep leading on, keep doing what you're doing. And when we heard about it, my family, we started supporting Dignity, and certainly thanks for sharing that with us, and thanks for your heart. Danielle, lastly, what would you say to someone thinking about getting started with a whole note?
Yeah, if you're thinking about getting started with a whole note, it can be a little overwhelming. A lot of us haven't invested in that way. We're used to the stock market. We're used to that history. Side conversation that I didn't mention earlier, and I'll go back to this question, but I graduated college in 2009, and there was some money in the stock market, and I remember that feeling of looking at what the money was right before I graduated, and then looking at the money what it was when I graduated, and it had dropped so much that I ended up having to continue to work to pay off more student loans. Because that money had lost so much value. And so that to me was daunting, coming out with not much and then realizing that not much wasn't even, that was a lot less, right? And so if you're thinking about getting started with His Capital, it can be a little bit of a different experience. Do it. It's worth it. The His Capital team will walk you through what that looks like. It's new concepts for many of us, but for me, I found that it is a more secure option. I found that this experience has been one in which I can see my money working for me. I can see my money growing in a way that is allowing me to feel confident in my investments. And it's allowing me to continue to serve our community in ways that really feel are making a difference. And so if you're considering working with His Capital, give it a shot, talk to them. It's worth the investment. It's worth the time. And I'm excited to hear more stories of what other people are doing with their investments and what other people are doing to change their communities. So I definitely highly recommend it. The experience is great, and it's been an amazing opportunity.
Well, Danielle, thank you so much for taking time today and going through a few questions. And you're going to help someone. You're going to help someone out there that was where you were, and I know that you've inspired us. And we appreciate you, Danielle, and you lead on. Keep up the great job.
Thanks so much.
All righty. Goodbye, Danielle.
Bye.